Welcome to another episode of the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, episode 95. I'm your host Michael, joining us live from Taiwan. Sean Newton joining us live from the East Coast, from Jersey. Kate Izzle, aka Isha. How you doing, lady and gent?
Very good, very good.
Hello.
Absolutely. Doing good. For those who are new to the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, Pound for Pound Boxing Report is a live YouTube show /blog/podcast that discusses all things boxing. The motto is, when boxing is good, we will talk about it. When boxing is bad, we will talk about it. The bottom line is, if it concerns boxing, we will talk about it. If you want to find information about the Pound for Pound Boxing Report, just go to the blog page, p4pboxingreport.wordpress.com. Look to the right of the blog page. You will find links to find the Pound for Pound Boxing Report all over the internet, all over social media. The 2G Plus pages, the Facebook page, the Tumblr page, the Podomatic page where you find previous episodes of the podcast, the Twitter handle, which is in the Twitter handle is at P4P Boxing Report, the YouTube page where you can check out past episodes of the live show, got a Pinterest board, got an RSS feed if you want to subscribe and check us out there. We're on Stitcher Radio. Just go to StitcherRadio.com and just look for the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. That's POUND. The number 4, POUND Boxing Report. We're also on Flipboard. If you check out the blog page as well, you'll find the email address for the show. Email address for the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. The email is p4pboxingrpt@gmail.com. Also on Flipboard Magazine, just look for Flipboard Magazine. You should be able to check us out there. Again, POUND, the number 4, POUND Boxing Report. And lastly, link to where you can donate your account. The link for that is donateyouraccount.com/P4P Boxing Report. Be a friend, be a pal, be a buddy. Subscribe to your Twitter account. And what happens is any tweet that comes from the Pound for Pound Boxing Report Twitter page, your Twitter account will automatically retweet any tweet that comes from the Pound for Pound Boxing Report Twitter page. With that being said, let's get the show started by recapping what happened last week. Big bout, of course, is PBC on ESPN card that went down at the Staples Center in LA. Leo Santa Cruz fighting Abner Mares. Santa Cruz winning by a majority decision over Mares. Let me check out the scores right quick.
117-111.
117-111 on 2 scorecards. A draw on the 3rd scorecard, which I don't understand. And I'll go to you on this one, Isha. Mike. Arguably the best win of Santa Cruz's career. He surprised me a bit by the discipline that he displayed. He used his height and his length against the shorter Mares. For me, Mares, he did good early, but around the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, Santa Cruz started to zone in on Mares, found the correct distance and the correct timing, landed the jab very well. As I mentioned, every time Mares would try to step in and land a punch, Santa Cruz did a very good job of countering, going to the body, and then stepping out, stepping away. Basically had Mares couldn't find a way to get inside that reach, and that was the real difference of the bout. I was a little bit surprised that Santa Cruz looked so much bigger than Mares, even though Santa Cruz was moving up 226 pounds to fight Mares, who've been fighting there for a while. Your thought on the bout between Leo Santa Cruz and Abner Mares? And I want to say Jay Dill is joining us right now. What's going on, brother? But back to you, Isha. Your thoughts on Santa Cruz and his win over Abner Mares?
Okay, anyone who knows me knows that was a fight that I was waiting for, because I like Santa Cruz, I like Mares, and I wanted to see Santa Cruz step up and fight someone better than who he has been fighting. And from that fight, it was a great fight for him. He showed some things that we didn't think he was capable of doing. Like, I always thought he was a one-dimensional fighter because he never used his height or, his reach ability, to control the fight. He always just comes fighting straight forward, coming in, and which is what he did for the first, 1 through 5 rounds. And then if you remember, his dad, when he went back to the corner, I think it was like you said in round 6, his dad was like, you need to, use your jab, control the distance, use the jab, blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly what he came out and he started doing it. And then he noticed that it started working, and that's just exactly what he did through the rest of the fight. And Mares came out like I told you guys he would last week. like a goon. He came out fast paced, hoping to catch Santa Cruz off and bully him, which he did the first few rounds. But we all know Mars was not going to be able to continue with that pace, and he did exactly what we said he was going to do: gas out. If he didn't get the KO early, he was going to gas out, and that's exactly what he did. He gassed out. He started throwing wild shots, and just Santa Cruz just settled in, and he just picked them apart towards the end. And like I said, it was a good fight for both guys. I don't know where Mars goes from that. I don't know who's going to fight next or whatever, but I want to see Cruz maybe fight a little bit tougher person this time. Not so much, oh buddy, not Lomachenko or anything like that, but I don't want to see him drop back down to, journeyman or tomato cans, as most people call it. I love the fight, want to see more, and that's pretty much all I have to say on it.
I'll go to you, Sean, and you can follow up, J. Dill. What you need, I see, is to join us as well. What's going on, brother? First, you, Sean, then you can follow up, J. Dill, and what you need. Your thoughts on the win by Santa Cruz last weekend over Abner Mares?
I mean, I wasn't surprised by anything really that happened. I mean, Mares, like Letitia said, did what he's tended to do against some of his bigger opponents, which is try to bully them and smother their work and sort of take them out of their comfort zone. I mean, you could see when he fought Alsamo Moreno, he did sort of the same thing. I mean, a good boxer mover, and he sort of dived in and was all over him like an octopus. And that's sort of the same technique that he tried to do at the beginning of this fight against the bigger, longer fighter, which, if you listen to a lot of people, they would have thought it would be effective, because a lot of people didn't think that Cruz would be able to sort of go to a second plan, to be able to box on the outside and use a jab. And a lot of people were just talking about how he only fights on the inside, throwing lots of punches. But even when he was fighting other guys and throwing lots of punches, I mean, he still used distance. I mean, he was usually at medium distance, setting up his shots and then sort of fighting from a medium distance, not really like inside. But he showed that he was able to work inside. As the fight progressed, he got better at sort of turning Mares and sort of, not being pushed around as much. He got better at sort of, making sure Mares wasn't holding and hitting him as much. And, and he sort of forced the fight a lot more on the outside, where he was able to use his long jab and his longer reach to sort of dictate the pace of the fight. So he did basically what I thought he was going to do. And, he showed some new twists and did a great job, and I thought he won the fight easily. I agreed with the 117-111 judges. I mean, I thought the 114-114 was ridiculous. I mean, I don't know what that guy was watching. That fight was not that close. It was a competitive fight, but a competitive fight does not mean the fight was necessarily close. It just means both guys had their moments. It just, in this case, Cruz had the majority of the moments. He was landing most of the clean shots. He was landing the jab consistently, and overall, he landed far more punches, and he threw more punches as well. So I was impressed. I mean, I'm looking forward to the rematch. I think it's good for both of them.
You agree with the scorecards of 9-3? They had Mares win. They had Santa Cruz winning. I'll go to you on this one, J. Dill, and then you can follow up what you need. I had it 8-4 on my card in favor of Santa Cruz. Your thoughts on Santa Cruz's performance, and does this win give Santa Cruz a little bit more credit, if you will, in your eyes, or were you not that impressed with Santa Cruz's win over Abner Mares?
Well, I saw this fight different from everybody. Santa Cruz came on strong 8, and some of the mid-round was swapping. Occupy activity, just because you landed good punches here and there. I was also seeing artists landing some punches here and there too that really weren't getting credited by the commentators. But it's all about clean punching to most people. But anyways, I had the fight as a draw, to be honest with you.
Oh, so you agree with Natty? When I was on Boxing Beat show, and Natty Turner had it a draw.
I agree with Jay Dills as well.
Yeah. It's just what I saw, like I was looking at what both fighters were doing. Santa Cruz was the more finesse fighter as far as had beautiful painting with his punches, where you could clearly see some damaging. But Mares kept pushing his pace, and and then I felt like he out hustled Santa Cruz a little bit in a couple rounds here and there. Now to give him only 3 rounds, two of those judges, I felt like he at least won more than 2 rounds, 3 rounds. I would say he won like 4 or 5 or 6 rounds. That's the most I could ever give him.
Which
Um,
round? Which round did he win?
to me, he won rounds 1, 2, 7. I also gave him 11 and 10. Those are my definitive rounds.
I had it 1, 2. That Abner Mares is 1, 2. Then I had 6 and 7. Then I had 11 and 12. But 12 was a close round, so it could have gone either way. So it really is.
I don't remember the rounds, but I did have the fight 7-5 for Santa Cruz.
I could give it 6-5 because again Santa Cruz was the dude that was really he was landing the more cleaner shots, and you saw Abner Mares' head literally snap back with those 1-2s.
Yeah, I felt that Santa Cruz landed the more hurtful punches, and they kind of swayed me more at the end of the day.
Right, and I don't watch it. I don't watch any fight with the volume up, so I always watch on mute so I can't hear the commentators.
Yeah, it was too biased for my taste, but luckily I could lock them out and see what I see. What I saw was, both guys going at it. It was a bit sloppy for my taste, but it was entertaining. The fans made the fight even more epic than what it really was. And and to be quite honest with you, first couple rounds I was entertained. I was like, yeah, this is a Mexican hack with Hearns. Then all of a sudden, it just got sloppy.
It got sloppy. Yep, it was a very sloppy fight. But like I said, Mars made it a sloppy fight. He was out there being a goon. He was trying, because he was the bigger man. I believe he was trying to, bully Santa Cruz. I don't remember which round it was where Mars had Santa Cruz like kind of tied up against a rope, and you can see Cruz trying to turn him, but Mars was holding him so tight he couldn't even spin out on him. They just spent into the other side of the rope.
To me, Mares was pulling that Miguel Cotto style, and he put his hand on the rope to keep.
Yeah, he was holding the rope too. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was literally trying to bully him. That's right. He was
right. And he was using his shoulder, like he was like bumping up to him with his shoulder.
Oh yeah, he was roughing him up on the inside.
Yeah, and I told you guys this is exactly what he was gonna do. But if he didn't catch him early with some crazy stuff, it wasn't gonna be fruitful.
Yeah. At the end of the day, to answer Michael's questions, I'll say this. Santa Cruz told me he could adjust to the fight. He showed me that he didn't get overwhelmed or falter under pressure on a high-profile fight. But also, as his coming out party, he didn't look that thorough or that impressive. I mean, for him to get that score and for people to say they want to see a rematch, obviously he didn't dominate that fight. He just had the more telling shots in that fight. But
he impressed me though, because I saw him fight off the back foot. That's something I never saw Leo Santa Cruz do. I saw him control range with that jab. Man, that dude had a pretty decent jab. He was pushing Abner Mares back in round 6 with the jab alone. And to me, that was impressive. He's not. Don't consider him an A-level fighter or elite fighter. We can't say that yet. Well, he is elite, but he ain't not A-level. He's not Floyd. So kind of forget about that. And just think of him as a developing fighter, and this aspect and dimension of him we seeing. I mean, this is impressive, man.
Go ahead, J. Dale. Go ahead.
I just got to see him fight another style in that division. Like, let me see him fight a Valletta or a Ponce de Leon or a Johnny Gonzalez or Gary Russell Jr. Somebody that has a different style, could present him certain different stuff, see how he fights. And if he dominates those fights, then I say he's elite. But I don't think power translates at 126. And I think the more he upgrades from Abner Mares is going to struggle in some of these fights. I think he's still going to be still picking his fights because I think
Okay.
But you're not impressed with his composure, how he composed himself throughout that fight, how he used his boxing skill. He went into boxing mode. This is stuff I never seen from Leo Santa Cruz. Never
Yeah,
seen.
yeah, yeah. You kind of going into my next question here, but I'll just open it up for everybody and just flow with it. Um, Given the outcome, given how Santa Cruz looked, what's the future for both guys? First Santa Cruz and then Mars. When you look at Santa Cruz, he moved up from 122. Physically, he looked like he can handle the weight at 126, even though he officially weighed 124. 26 is a very good division right now. You mentioned Gary Russell Jr. You got the Selbys, you got the Lomachenkos, you got Johnny Gonzalez still there. You got Gradovich, he's still around. You got Vidyeka. Where do you see him fitting in that division? And also for Abner Mares, what do you think he should do? Should he stay at the division? I personally think that he may want to move down to 122, fight a quick Frampton, someone in that area. The only thing I would say additionally is that in terms of Santa Cruz, I'm hearing folks, and I kind of had a back and forth with some folks on Twitter who are using that win to say that Santa Cruz is elite, and that he could beat a Rigo, he could beat a Lomachenko, he could be very competitive against those guys. I push back against that because look, Mars, he fights basically one style. The things that Santa Cruz did against him, he would not be able to do against either a Lomachenko at 126 or even a Rico at 122 or 126. So your thoughts on the future, and this is for everybody, for both Abner Mares as well as Leo Santa Cruz.
I don't think he could beat Selp.
Yeah,
The Grindovich fight with Selby would be the same thing with Selby going against Santa Cruz, to be honest with you. And number two, like I,
Okay.
like I said, like it's certain level fighters he could beat at 126, but against like top 3, top 4 fighters, he'll struggle or he'll lose those fights. He's lucky that Nicholas Walters ain't still in that division because that'll be a mop out right there.
that would be a bad matchup. Bad matchup for Santa Cruz at 126.
One more fighter. I like to see him fight Mayorga, the guy that Walters just fought. That would be an interesting fight too. But anyways, I let everybody else speak on this. I'm done.
Anybody can chime in. Then unmute your mic, Izzle.
Well, I always believe that a boxer can do this and that, and not about can. I think it's about what is most likely. Like for me, it's like with Santa Cruz, he already proved me wrong. I thought Abner Mares was going to beat him, okay, because I thought he was the better fighter and everything, and he proved me wrong. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to try and I'm not going to try and say anything on this guy until I see him. If he moves up to the next level, if they push him to the next level. Let's see if he can step up to the next level. So that's what I basically would say about him. I don't think of him as an Antonio Margarito model either. This kid got much more dimension. He pivots off the front foot. He pivoted off the back foot very nicely in that fight. Yeah, he wasn't the sharpest back foot work and stuff. You can't. He's developing as a fighter, but I mean the boy did some things in there that impressed me technically speaking. So. I don't know this dude, so I'm gonna be careful about what I say about him from here on in.
Isha, Sean, your thoughts on the future for both Santa Cruz and Abner Mares?
With as far as I'm kind of with what you need on that one, as far as like saying can't or the whole thing about that with a boxer, because anything can happen. It's boxing. I don't know how Santa Cruz will hold up to the likes of a Gary Russell or Lomachenko, because that speed on top of speed on top of speed, and we've never seen him fight someone like that with those skill sets. So I can't say whether or not he's going to fold from it or whether or not he'll be able to adjust. But from the fight that he just fought, he showed me that he can adjust or make adjustments and get with the program. But at the same time, it was Abner Mares. Do I think him in the ring with Rigo would be fruitful for him? Nah, not at all. I don't think anything he did against Mares would could lead to him beating Rigo at all because of the the diverse skill set that Rigondeaux has is just on a whole different ball playing for him. But as far as Mares or Mars, excuse me, um, maybe he should go back down because what the biggest fight he fought at this division at this weight was against Santa Cruz, and previous to that he didn't look all that great in his tomato can fights either. So maybe this division is not where he should be. Maybe going up wasn't the smartest choice for him. Maybe he should go back down and redefine himself, and fight, like you said. What was dude's name? Scott Quigg, I think you said his name was the dude from UK. Yeah,
Quig, Frampton, either one of
yeah,
those
all
guys.
those guys. I think those would be good fights for him at that weight. And Mars is a great fighter. He has a good skill set, and I think at that weight he can still be a strong force to be reckoned with in that division. But I don't think that the move up to 126 didn't go as well as he wanted it to. I do think he should move back down and try to reevaluate his game plan, or stay there and just get made a fool of, I suppose.
Sean,
How about a rematch with Johnny Gonzalez though? He might want to get
I
his get
don't
back
I
on
don't
him.
want to see a rematch with Johnny Gonzalez with him. I would like to see Santa Cruz fight Gonzalez, as well as like J. said, the Ponce de Leon. I haven't seen de Leon fight in a while, but I think those two fights for Santa Cruz would be good. I think Mars going back to fight Johnny Gonzalez right now is too much emotion in that, because that shit is still at the front of his head. I don't think that's a good push for him right now. On top of losing to Santa Cruz right now, dude is on some how do you say, his mentality is not tight right now for that fight.
uh, I agree with J. Dale's assessment of Lee Selby. I still would like to see more of Selby, but they're both equal in height, arm length. Selby can move, he can box. He could pose some problems for Abner Mares. I agree absolutely with J. Dale on that, but I'm going to bring Sean into this discussion. The future for Santa Cruz and Mars. Sean, your thoughts?
Well, obviously, I mean, they're going to have a rematch. I mean, that's where their future is. I mean, this fight was very successful. It's going to be a big, successful fight again in California. I mean, probably the second time around it would be even more successful because of what a good fight it was. And, we know the California Mexicans are going to be all over this fight. And, I think the rematch would be good. It'll be competitive, but I think Cruz would do even better in the next time around, and I think he will dominate it even easier and maybe even stop Mares. Mares should go down. I mean, he's a small fighter. He will do much better at 118, where he's able to use this bullying, smothering type of tactic against guys that are his same size and maybe a little smaller. Whereas, Cruz, finally, he's at a weight that's perfect for him. I mean, he is still, now that Walters has left, one of the biggest guys in the division, and he just moved into it. And hopefully, being in the weight and being able to be at a more natural weight, it will help his power a little more, because he's a quality fighter. He shows he can box. We know that he brings it. He's in great shape, and he overwhelms guys with his volume. But the biggest problem with him is he doesn't seem to have the power to finish guys off, which would help out him and also make his life a lot easier. He's got a great chin, so he's able to take it. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, because he doesn't have the power, he sort of forces himself to take it more than he should. But at that weight, I mean, there's some good fighters for him. I mean, even though we know his next fight is going to be Mares, but him against Ponce de Leon, he's retired, so I don't think we're going to see that fight. A guy like Johnny Gonzalez, that fight would be good, but based on how terrible he looked his last fight against Gary Russell, I think he would probably end up getting stopped later in the fight just because of wear and tear and is too slow. Uh, and the other guys that people have mentioned, those guys are much smaller, and he has a longer reach than the majority of them. He's much taller than most of them. I mean, Lomachenko, Rigo, Frampton, uh, who else did we say?
Quick.
Well, Quigg isn't so short, but I mean, the other guys that are coming up, like, Gary Russell, those guys have speed, which is their advantage, and things, but I mean, by dismissing him, you're failing to take in the fact that he is the bigger fighter, he has a longer reach, and he does use volume to his benefit, and has a tough chin. And the only guy out of those guys that really, really brings power is Rigo. But how is his power going to be effective if he moves up to 126? He's probably not going to be nearly as effective. I mean, so those fights I think are all good fights. And I mean, I think, like what Unique was saying, at this point, to throw him under the bus and say he couldn't win those fights, you're sort of underestimating, because he's never proven that he can be beaten yet. He hasn't lost, and he's shown that he can adjust and fight different styles. So you need to put him in the ring with those guys, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously you favor a Lomo and a Rigo over him, but a Gary Russell, I don't know if I favor Gary Russell over him. He's a guy who stands right in front of a guy and throws punches. He doesn't use lots of angles. He doesn't use a good jab. I mean, his reach is far shorter. His biggest asset is his speed, but he stands right in front. So it's not like you can't hit him. He's going to be there to be hit by the guy with the longer jab and the longer punches, who's going to use volume. So that fight would be great. So it would be interesting to see it, because they both are volume punchers. So it could be a war as well. So it's exciting. 126 is really developing. It has a lot of good potential fights. We'll see what happens with Donaire and Quigg. Depending on what happens there. I mean, maybe Quigg will move up as well. But, yeah.
Telegraph.
Out of those three that you mentioned, I only favor Rigo over Cruz.
I throw Lomachenko in there.
I don't favor him. I don't favor Loma over him. I just favor
Cruz is not beat Lomachenko. No.
Yeah, you also said he wasn't going to beat Mars too.
Well, I thought Mars whatever, but Lomachenko is a whole higher level
you
fighter.
eat that crow pie, sir. You eat it.
I am, but that doesn't mean that he's going to be a Lomachenko higher level fighter, completely higher level in terms of ability, caliber.
I don't know, because it looks like he can take a pretty solid hit, and I think he has a just as good as a chance in there with Loma as he does with Gary Russell. Just like saying, the reason I don't favor him over Rigo is just because Rigo's footwork, his speed, his angles, he's just a slick fighter, and I just think I just don't think that style with how he fights right now, it would I don't see him beating Rigo, but I don't know. That's just me.
Lomachenko is just as slick as Rigo, if not more slick. And he's a far better inside fighter than Rigo is as well. And
exactly. And much bigger.
The two-handed fighter, unlike Rigo, who tends to be one-handed. And Rigo is far smaller than Lomachenko, so he's going to be dwarfed by Santa Cruz. The same reason that I think Nicholas Walters would have steamrolled Rigo are the same reasons why I think that Santa Cruz would do very well against him. Not necessarily win, but I mean, it would be a far more competitive fight than a lot of Rigo fans would like to give it credit for.
Oh, I didn't say it wouldn't be competitive. I was just stating that I don't think he would win.
Yeah, but a lot of fans, they tend to think that, it wouldn't be competitive. That Rigo
of course, because they think he's so superior to boxing, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. Yes, it'll probably be a very competitive fight, but I think all three will be a competitive fight. I can see him pulling out a win over Gary Russell Jr. faster than, more than I see him winning over Rigo and Loma, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We'll talk about the undercard bout, which almost stole the show. And I'm going to go to you, JDL, so unmute your mic, brother. Julio Ceja scoring a comeback fifth round TKO win over Hugo Ruiz. Ruiz put down Ceja in round 3. but Ceja got himself up, dusted himself off, and uh, hurt Ruiz. Ceja hurt Ruiz, excuse me, in round 5, and finished the show. Hit him with a left hook on the chin, then they put him down, I believe. Then hit him with several clean punches. Follow up assault, which was really too much. And Raul Kaiz, he stopped about it. I believe the 2.5-minute mark of round 5. I don't think these are the best fighters skill wise, but you put these two together, it made for one entertaining battle, J. Dill.
These two prospects were pretty good going against one another. It was a person of Puck versus Glowacki, but a little more un, un, un
Unorthodox.
What I wanted to say is like I like how Ceja persevered from getting down in the third, and how he just went to the body more to set up headshots. And when he did that, got more physical to the body, that opened up Luis a lot more, and that set up that that TKO, and that was pretty brutal. And to me, that was just as entertaining as the actual main event. I was like, oh, I'm geeked up, I'm pumped up by this. But overall, I would like to see what Ceja does next. It's always good to see undercards, especially again, two fighters giving their all, and you know the magnitude of that crowd made the fight exciting too. Usually, crowds and undercards, people just getting in, and it's just like a whatever fight, but it could be entertaining, but it don't have that epic feel. But this fight, it had an epic feel, and I was just like, wow, this is probably going to be more entertaining than the main event. Now, the main event did deliver to a certain extent, but what I want to say about Ceja overall is he showed me some grit. He showed me that he adjusted well, got more physical, went to the body more to set up some headshots, and that left hook was beautiful. And that right hand that he landed that made Luis froze for a minute on the ropes. I was like, man, this dude about to die. And thank God the ref stopped that, man. But I was like, holy crap. So yeah, I enjoyed the fight. It gets a 9 out of 10 for me, and good stuff.
I'll go to you on this one, what you need, and then you can follow up, Sean. Your thoughts on this about Ceja, of course, for those who do not know, he lost in a world title trial for the vacant belt at bantamweight to Jeremy McDonnell in England, I want to say 2 years ago. But kudos to him for rebounding and really putting on a performance that will qualify as one of the fights of the year so far in 2015. Your thoughts, what you need?
This fight was full of drama, man. Full of drama. It was fun. It was fun. In fact, all the fights on that card were fun. You know, I guess Mexican fights are the joint. So, I mean, I enjoyed everything. That's basically it for me. I mean, J. Dill basically took the words out of my mouth. I didn't need to say any more about that. I think it was just a great night of boxing. Even that Abner Mares versus Santa Cruz, those sons of guns, man. They going at it like high activity, high output for 12 rounds. I was like, what the? You know, it's crazy, man. It's a crazy night.
I'll go to you, Sean. Your thoughts on this bout?
I thought it was great. I mean, it's good to see these two fighters who had their championship opportunities but lost to Jamie McDonnell and Kameda. So it was good. We know they've been at that level. They just haven't been able to sort of step up and surpass it. And in this fight, you had them both there. You figured because of the fact they both wanted it so bad and they both failed in their last attempt that they would bring it, and they did. After the first round, watching this fight, I knew that Ruiz was going to be KO'd by that left hand. So it made it even better when he got knocked down by Ruiz, which made it really competitive, because then I was like, oh, okay. I still think he's going to land it, but I mean, it's a little more competitive now. And then
what did you see? Just to expand on for folks who are listening or who are watching this live, what did you see that made you tell early on he was going to eventually land that left hook and knock him out with it?
Just the way he was countering with it, and he missed a few times, but you could see that it was right there, and that eventually he was going to land it. I mean, Ruiz is the taller, thin guy who was more of a conventional fighter, fighting behind his jab. And every time he threw that jab, I mean, he sort of was open for that counter left. And it is Ceja's, is that how you say his name?
Yeah.
Ceja's best punch by far. And, you know, early on they were touting them as both big power punchers, but early on in the fight, I mean, Ruiz is the one who looked like he was the stronger puncher. But you could see that left hand had something behind it, and eventually it was going to land. So I wasn't surprised when it landed because you could see early on that it was there, and especially the way he came in sort of under the jab and came up with it, that it was going to hit. And I just thought that Ruiz wouldn't be able to take it once he got hit. You know, just being the tall, thin guy, I didn't think that his chin and his toughness would be at that level. And yeah, it worked out that way. You know, I think it's sort of funny how, you know, this fight is getting PBC so much publicity now as putting on great fights and great cards. But this is just a typical California Mexican card, you know, the same things that Golden Boy has been doing for years. So it's no surprise that this card was successful. I mean, you put a bunch of guys out there that are going to fight, and the level of competition is similar, and you're going to have great fights, which is what people have been saying for like the last 6 months. You need better matchmaking, and you need to put guys in with people that are going to push them to create competitive fights. And it just happens that with this case, putting these fighters in there, which is a normal formula that's been used for how long, was obviously successful. So I wasn't surprised this was a good card. I was surprised anybody actually watched the Mosley card.
Go to you on this one, Isha. Unmute your mic. Okay, she left us. I didn't know she left us. I'm sorry. So we'll move on. I'll try to get her back. Move on to talk about some news that's been happening over this week. Yesterday, Kell Brook finally announced, or Eddie Hearn finally announced the next opponent for Kell Brook, as he will fight Diego Chavez, October 24th in Brook's hometown in Sheffield. Now I just go around and anybody can chime in. Thoughts on Brook Chavez? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I know it's been a lot of talk on Twitter over the past 24 hours or so. Your thoughts on Brook in his upcoming fight with Diego Chavez?
Oh, these fans that are so critical. I mean, how can you defend Floyd fighting Berto, but then be critical of Brook fighting a guy Chavez, who's been in tough fights and been a competitive fighter in all the fights? I mean, is this an elite fight for Brook? No. But we do realize they tried to make elite fights, but you need to pay elite money to elite fighters, which sometimes makes these things difficult to organize, and why sometimes these big fights take a little while to set up. But a fight like this, it's easy to set up. We know Chavez in his last fight, I think he made less than $100,000 to fight Bradley. So, you know, he's game. He doesn't ask for too much money, and he's a top fighter who is still trying to push to that elite level. I mean, I don't think he ever will. But at that same time, I mean, he's a guy who brings it, and he's been in with the best guys, and it's a good fight to evaluate where Brook is. And it's the best fight since Porter that he's been in with. So I think it's a quality fight, and it's good that he's staying busy and he's fighting top-level fighters. I mean, obviously we want to see him in with Bradley and Thurmans and maybe a rematch with Porter or a Floyd. But I mean, I think people are too quick to criticize people. I mean, this is a quality fight. This is a better fight than Thurman versus Collazo. This is a better fight than a lot of fights that have been made. I mean, but it's similar to those level. I mean, you know, you have the top guy against a quality opponent who is dangerous. And I mean, he had a draw with Bradley in his last fight, you know, on the cards.
I see Isha, you're back. Unmute your mic, please. I'm gonna ask you for your opinion about the upcoming fight between Brook and Chavez. But first, I want to give you the opportunity to give your opinion about Ceja, his comeback win over Ruiz. I know we were going back and forth on Twitter with some other folks, and you gave how many oohs?
Wow, I got the 7 woo. Yeah, that fight definitely got 7 woos from me. That fight was lit. Like, that fight I actually listened to the commentators because when I don't know much about the two fighters, I listen just so I can hear, you know, some backdrop on them. But I recall Teddy Atlas in that one talking about how Cejas was gonna win and should win and blah 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 this that and the other, and then he gets rocked, right? So then, right after that, Teddy's tune changed real quick, and then you could see how he was going back and forth between, trying to decide which fighter was gonna win or whatever. But other than that, dude, the fight was live. Like I had a buddy of mine, we were texting back and forth about the fight, and even he enjoyed the fight. So when you can get my buddies who don't really watch that much boxing into it, yeah, it's a good fight. And that Ruiz dude, like I don't know much about him, but man, he seemed like a serious problem in that fight against Ceja. Like they were going at it trying to knock each other's blocks off, and man, like I said, 7 woos, and I'll love to see them fight each other again.
And your thoughts on Kell Brook and Diego Chavez about this coming up October that was announced yesterday?
Right. According to Twitter, that's a terrible fight for Brook. A cherry picked fight or whatever. I don't think it is. Chavez is a good Argentinian fighter. He fights a little dirty, yeah, but lot of fighters do. But I think that's a solid fight for him. Granted for what he has right now, as far as options. I think he wanted to fight Bradley, but that fell through, whatever the case may be. But I don't know. I don't understand why people, dissect these fights so hardcore like they do. Like he is not a worthy opponent for Brook. I mean, the dude's 23-2. He lost 2 fights, and one of those losses wasn't at the DQ to Rios, which
Yes.
really doesn't even count. So he's a quality fighter. I don't understand where they're getting, this is a cherry pick, this is a horrible fight. He's fighting, someone who's not worth it, blah blah blah. I would never understand that mentality of these fans today. But
A lot of them don't know anything about boxing. That's what's up.
I mean, I don't know much about boxing either, too, what you need, but I still have the common sense to, the dude is a professional fighter. I mean, look at his record here, 23 wins, 2 losses. On paper, how is that not
He's
a
also
good, a good
top
fight?
10. He's
Exactly.
rated top 10 in the world right now.
And we know who he is. It's not like he's a nobody. You know what I'm saying? I know who Diego Chavez is. So if I know who he is, obviously a lot of other people know who he is. You can't just dismiss him as, that's a terrible fight, blah blah blah. No, this is a good solid matchup for Brook with a different kind of different skill set as well. But as far as it being like a cherry pick fight, I don't understand where the hell people are coming up with that. But hey, fans are fans, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it. If it's televised over here for us to see, I'm definitely going to catch it. But other than that, I really don't have much more to say. Like I said, I know Kell Brook as mainstream. I saw his fight against Sean Porter, and I seen like maybe 2 other fights of his. That's about it. But looking at his resume, this is a solid step up, solid bout for him. So I'm with it.
You can chime in further what you need. You can give me also your comments, Jay.
Well, first and foremost, there's a reason why I say some people talk, but they don't know anything about boxing. They listen to what other people say, and they go with that. That's what people do. People are sheep. But what I want to say about Diego Chavez is a great all-around Argentine fighter. This brother, he's much more diverse than Brandon Rios. If anybody knows, on 2 of the 3 judges' scorecard, he was winning that fight when they DQ'd him, controversially. Okay? People say he's a dirty fighter. I don't see that. He wasn't dirty against Thurman. He wasn't dirty against Bradley. So people say he was a dirty fighter. What was happening was he was holding Brandon Rios, and Brandon Rios was cussing and getting on. And so people have gone with that. People are sheep. Okay? But what I would say about Chavez, that's the fighter I wanted to see Kell Brook fight. I thought that was a solid top 10 fighter. This brother, he can box. He has power. He can also bang if he needs to. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He can fight mid-range. This guy is very, very skilled. It's like how people give bad flack to Leonard Bundu when Kell Brook was going to fight Leonard Bundu. Leonard Bundu is an excellent inside fighter who stays on the outside He pivots to the left, to the right. You know, he has an unusual style, and again, people they don't seem to understand, you know, the skill set of these guys. So absolutely, I'm totally for Diego Chavez versus Kell Brook. That's a solid that's a great fight, man. It's a great fight. You know, Chavez gets to sort of show what he can do. You know, Kell Brook's not as fast as Timothy Bradley. He's not as inside and outside. He's more rangy. You know, he uses a lot more pivot work. You know, he can change stance if he needs to and do whatever is necessary. This is a great fight. Much better than Jojo Dan and Frankie Gavin. Much respect to Frankie Gavin as a southpaw, but, you know, he was outmatched there. You know, so that's all I got to say about that.
Kell Brook and Diego Chavez, J. Dill, speak on it. You got your mic muted.
All right. Personally, I like to see how Kell does against Chavez, so I could measure him compared to Bradley and Keith Thurman. I want to see how his performance is in this fight. Now, if he dominates, whether it's a TKO, KO, or just a decision, if he does.
Are you there, J.
He doesn't. Can you hear me?
You're breaking in and out on us. You're breaking in and out on us a bit.
Can you hear me?
Breaking up like the 5 heartbeats, buddy.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah. Now we can. You were just breaking up on us a bit.
Okay. What I was saying is, I like this in the sense it tells me where Kell Brook is. Brook gets rid of Chavez early or quick or dominates the whole fight, then that tells me he's elite at 147. But if it's a competitive fight and it's a who's fight until round 11, I'm going to say Kell Brook is not as good as advertised. But either way, I'm glad he's taking on this fight. Diego Chavez is just the measuring stick for a lot of these up-and-comers or whatever. He's just getting tough fight after tough fight, but I commend him. And to be honest with you, I hope Diego Chavez wins this fight so I can say he's a big name on his resume. There's no shame into that either. So I'm actually going to root for Diego Chavez in this fight. I know that's not a popular pick, but that's what I'm going to do. That's all I got to say.
Here's the thing for me, for folks who are mad at this bout, not only to what you need to point about how they need to look at Chavez's record, who he's fought, but the other question for me is, what other options are there out there for Kell Brook at this point? I mean, look, you got Thurman talking but not fighting. You got Khan talking but not fighting. You know Mayweather, he's tied up. Fight coming up. Porter, he's out there, but who's really calling him out? He's talking again, but not fighting. Got Garcia, he's moving up into the division. He's not going to want him yet. They tried to get a fight with Brandon Rios. That fell through. They tried to get a fight with Timothy Bradley. That fell through. So, again, who else is out there for Kell Brook right now other than Diego Chavez? And, again, that's what Janine was saying. On paper, Diego, if you see Diego Chavez, is he elite? No. But he can fight, and to Jay Dill's point, it's a good barometer to see how Kell Brook would look in comparison to what Timothy Bradley and what Keith Thurman did to him. So I'm not mad at this one bit. Anybody can else, any last words for anybody else who want to chime in even more?
And he beat Brandon Rios. You know, people are ranking Brandon Rios above this guy. He got a gift decision. He beat Brandon Rios. You understand? And we could say Timothy Bradley beat him, no doubt. But at the end of the day, you know, this guy is a lot. I think he's underrated. I think people are underrating this guy. You know, that's what I think.
That's why I say I'm rooting for him. I want to see him get a win. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people failed to understand up until old buddy Jacklovich or whatever the hell his name was DQ'd him, he was ahead on all of the scorecards in that Rios fight. So where people are getting off, discrediting him like he's like some fucking trash fighter is just beyond me. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna move on. We talked in the midst of this conversation about Brook and Chavez and the fight itself. Timothy Bradley's name was mentioned quite often. I think by each of us. And I'm gonna go to you on this one. What you need? Well, news broke today, I believe it was, that Bradley and his longtime trainer Joel Diaz have parted ways. Bradley, over the last few fights, has been criticized because he tends to get in full-out firefights when he doesn't need to. He's best at boxing and using his movement, but a lot often he gets lulled into wars and unnecessarily tough fights. And I go to you specifically because of this move. Do you think it was wise? Do you think it was a case of Joel Diaz, or do you think when it comes to the criticism of Tim Bradley, in short, the criticism of Tim Bradley, does it more have to do with the trainer, or is it more the fighter himself and what's perceived to be his stubbornness in the ring?
I think Bradley's attitude basically to life is to fight tough and to fight through every situation. And I think Joel Diaz, he's trying to look out for Bradley's health and well-being, and he's saying you don't have to fight tough all the time. Sometimes you need to fight smart. You saw the damage he took in that Jesse Vargas fight. I mean, this guy, he was puffy all over the eye. The scar tissue was, showing. And he's going into another fight against Brandon Rios, because that's a done deal now. He's going to be fighting Brandon Rios November the 4th, I think, or some 8th or something like that. And I don't even think that Joel Diaz is actually supportive of that move, because the last time I listened to them, they picked Jesse Vargas because they thought that Brandon Rios was not a fight that they were interested in. And the fact that Bradley's even going to fight Brandon Rios here is kind of, I don't know, man. Everything seems to be a bad decision making, bad choice making. Now he's sacking Joel Diaz. I don't know, man. It seems as though Bradley likes to do things the tough way. I guess that's pretty much it. So I don't know.
In short, the brother comes off as hard headed.
Yeah, I mean, he's hard-headed. He gonna do this particular way, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't understand. He sacked Cameron Duncan. He has his wife as a manager. I guess that's going well. So I don't understand. I don't understand the moves. I just don't understand them. I don't want to make any judgment on him, but I don't understand his moves. I honestly don't.
Your thoughts on this, JDL? The fact that Diaz and Timothy Bradley decided to split ways.
Man, first and foremost, I think Bradley, and I said this even before this breakup, I think stylistically Bradley would lose this fight against Rios, this version of Bradley. Reason why is because it's hard to get rid of Rios, and Rios is just going to keep coming forward, and Bradley ain't got no power to stop that. It ain't going to be, I don't know, it's just, I don't like too many wars, and I'm a big Bradley fan, but I think he'll lose that fight. But to the point, with Joel Diaz, I just think they needed to split up for a minute and rekindle with one another. Later on, Shane did it with his father. Bernard Hopkins done it with Nassim. It's just, you need a break from the same guy after a while, and then eventually y'all come back for another run and y'all finish up and y'all retire together as a team. But right now, Bradley, I just think he's trying to see what Carcino said. A lot of truth to it. I think personally it's a bad move for Bradley, thinking that his father could train him just as much as Joel Diaz does. But Tim will learn. But if he wins this fight despite of Joel Diaz, how garbage of a fight he has right in front of him. But I don't think he's going to win this fight. Most people say, "Oh, this fight," but no, this is going to be a hard fight. Bradley, Rios is just too tough.
But
Mm.
the thing I would say is that when he did listen to I mean I don't mean to dominate, but when he did listen to Joel Diaz and fought Marquez, that was a brilliant fight when he fought Marquez. And I
Right.
just don't understand why this guy he actually said, Floyd Mayweather boxes a certain way, but he learned that he needs to fight to give the fans excitement. And I'm like, dude, the fans ain't gonna be there with you when you like Bobby Shaq or you like Muhammad Ali, and you just you got a whole set of motor neuron problems. So you taking some unnecessary punishment, as far as I'm concerned. For the
He goes into the fight against Vargas last time out. What did you see in the pre-fight interviews? Oh, I need to add some
exactly,
power in my game. I need to do this. I need to do that. And he put himself in a position where he got himself hurt in the last round when he was winning the
exactly,
fight clearly. He didn't need to get hit with those shots. He didn't need it.
exactly. That's the problem with Timothy Bradley. Decision making. He's got everything to win a fight and win it, without having to take all that punishment, and he just decides I'm going to do it this way. So
Let me bring Sean and Isha into this. Your thoughts on this split between Joel Diaz and Timothy Bradley?
Go ahead, Sean.
These things happen in boxing. I mean, Bradley's getting to that point where he's had a few fights that didn't go as easily or as well as people would have thought they would have. The Chavez fight, the Vargas fight. And those were two fights that people pretty much thought that he was going to win easily, just by being the better boxer, the faster fighter, and being able to use different things to win. And both of those fights were struggles. So I think it's a combination that his trainer sort of wants him to maybe hang up his gloves, start thinking about retirement because he's taking a lot of damage. And Bradley, who is still stubborn and driven and wants to be the best, and he's just won another title, and he wants to get out there and fight the best guys. I think it's a shame that the Dirrell fight with Floyd isn't a Bradley fight with Floyd, because that would be sort of the perfect way for him to end his career, fighting the best guy in the game. And he's done enough to deserve it, and he's the one name at 147 that really should have that fight. But now he's got to have these tough fights with these young guys who have lots of things to prove, whereas he doesn't have anything to prove. It's just a matter of him wanting to do more. Somebody was saying that his goal is to become a Hall of Fame fighter, so he's really driven to accomplish things so that he can solidify himself in the Hall of Fame.
Well, on that, listen, considering who's been elected to the Hall of Fame now, based on his resume, he's worthy. There are other fighters who are in there now who doesn't have near the resume of Tim Bradley.
Sure, no, and that's what people are saying. His resume already is better than a lot of guys who deserve that, just with wins over Manny Pacquiao, being a two-weight division champion. But, I can understand why he's doing this fight with Rios. It'll be a huge fight in California. Financially, it's a real viable fight. There's a natural sort of built animosity and rivalry there. It's a shame that he couldn't have done the fight with Brook, but as far as both fights, I think obviously the Rios fight is the more tailor-made fight for him. I think he would have a real tough time trying to beat Brook, who is a smart boxer, taller, stronger, and has a great jab and a big right hand. I could see Bradley being stopped late in that fight. But against Rios, if he can use his brains and use his boxing ability, he should be able to put on another Marquez type of performance because, Marquez is better than Bradley, but Bradley brings it, and it's going to allow him to do the same sort of fight plan, be able to box on the outside and walk him right into his shots. And, well, he might not stop Rios. He should be able to pound the crap out of him.
yeah.
Your thoughts, Isha?
Yeah, I agree with Sean on some of the things he said. Like as far as Bradley being the one name at the 147 that deserves a fight with Floyd. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And the fact that the split between him and Diaz, I think is a little bit along the lines of what Sean was saying. Like Diaz wanted him to basically probably, hang him up, retire because of, taking unnecessary damage or whatever. But at the same time, I think, it was probably some type of debate whether, he doesn't want to retire yet. So maybe Joel was trying to get him some softer fights. But being, who Tim Bradley is, dude's real hard-headed. He just wants to fight the best and continue to fight the best or whatever, regardless of, his health. I mean, I don't understand does he not like watch his previous fights and look at what's going on in the tapes? Like, I don't know, because I as a fighter for myself, I wouldn't want to sit there and take unnecessary damage like that.
And he has
like
kids
like
and
what
a
you
wife.
need exactly. Like what you need said, he's going to end up with some serious, brain problems later on in life like this.
But here's the thing that you're missing: the same issue that had Evander Holyfield. See, when I look at Tim Bradley, I think of him as a smaller Evander Holyfield. They fight kind of the same at their best, but they have the same mentality, same stubbornness, the same pride that keeps them in wars when they don't need it, that keeps them fighting on what they're needed, that when it's not needed. For Holyfield, Bradley's going through the same thing right now. It's clear.
Yeah, I can see that too, but it's not necessary. And I think Joel, instead of, just being a money trainer, he was actually trying to look out for his well-being. Yeah. And I don't know if you guys read any of the other tweets earlier, but I guess Joel was saying that it was this decision wasn't really based off of Bradley, it was more based off of his wife. And for some reason, I kind of feel there's some truth in that.
Well, I don't understand that because Tim Bradley's wife, she wants him out the game as well.
That might be a show, bro.
I think she wants him out the game, but she's his manager, so it could be her, and she could be influenced by Top Rank right at this point in time.
But check this out: she's the reason that they dumped Cameron too.
Exactly.
Because I don't know what the reason is. Obviously, everybody's going to speculate because it's more money into, back into them instead of paying out an extra person, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I don't see what reason Joel will have after 10 years, to shit on his wife like that. So, I don't know. I kind of feel as though there's probably some truth in that. But we'll never know, right?
And Joel said he's not going to take Bradley back. He said that.
Yeah, he also said that wasn't no coming back to it either. So
yeah,
so and with that, that's what made me think that maybe there's some truth in it because how you gonna let your your lady run the.
I don't think she's running it. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a number of people, because Joel was saying that he has to go through like a number of people just to get to talk to Timothy Bradley sometimes. That's what he was saying. Yeah,
that too. I don't know. Maybe it's for the best, whatever. I hope Bradley wisens up a little bit and, stops taking so much damage, unnecessary damage. I don't want to see him fight Rios. I know a lot of people are happy with this fight. I'm very disappointed in this fight. I don't know who I would rather see him fight other than Mayweather, but Rios fight, nah. Rios should be fighting like a Ruslan or something. That's the fight I want to see. I don't see why this fight was even made, and they're saying that Diaz was the one that stuck them with this fight now. So I don't know what the hell's going on. This isn't a good fight for him. He shouldn't be fighting this fight because, like you said, Rios is just that dude who just keeps coming, who keeps coming. And if you don't got no power to push him off, he's just going to keep coming. And even if you got power to some bitch is so motherfucking crazy, he's still going to keep coming. I.e. the fucking Mike fights, Alvarez fights. I mean, they was just sitting there just trading punches. You could see he got rocked from one of them punches. He was just still standing there talking about some, yeah, motherfucker, hit me some more. The fuck? You crazy. So to see Bradley in the fight with a dude like that,
But
I
the
just
thing
don't.
about Bradley is if he boxed smart, he like just like Pacquiao, he beat the crap out of him because he just be keep
Right.
on pivoting and stuff.
But
But I
but
don't know
listen
if
to what you're
he's gonna
saying.
do
If
that though.
But listen to what
What
you're
you're
saying.
saying,
If
you're saying,
he boxed Smurfs, we
I
said that
mean,
about when he was fighting the Vargas, and look what happened in the 12th round. All he had to
Exactly.
do was just shimmy around the ring, throwing a few fucking jabs, and what he do? No, I'm gonna sit here and trade with the
I
young bull,
mean,
and
I
damn
mean,
near getting knocked the fuck out.
I
The
mean,
fuck.
hell, if he would have fought the second half of the Pacquiao bout like he did the first half of the Pacquiao bout in their rematch, Bradley would have beat him that night.
I don't know. I think he turned into the Incredible Hulk, man.
No, the incredible fucking dummy, not the incredible Hulk. Dude just loses his marbles while he's in there. It's like, okay, hold up. The first 6 rounds, I'm winning this fight convincingly, fighting like a boxer that I am. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Last 4 rounds. Here, let me try to trade with this dude who hits 10 times harder than me while I'm throwing marshmallows back at him. Come on, Timothy. Come on. Let's be fucking clear here. Dude, you have no real power. Your wins are solely off of your boxing genius. You box very well. You don't trade very well.
I think
You
I think
throw
the
what? Go ahead.
I think the
Ruslan
fact that
Provodnikov too. I
I
didn't
think the
understand
fact
that
that he
fight.
has I think the fact that he has an 8 pack instead of a 6 pack kind of gives him a false sense of security. Think he has this extra
I
power.
think
He
so
doesn't.
too.
You
I
sure
don't
he didn't
know.
get brain damage from the Ruslan fight?
It's possible we won't know until down the
Oh,
line because that fight was crazy itself. He was out on the ropes,
Yeah,
still swinging.
yeah,
I mean, he was concussed in that fight. He was concussed.
badly, badly.
But no, my
Remember,
point is that Bradley, there's people who can box and who can trade just as well. Bradley is not one of those people. If you watch how he trades, he just throws wild shots like you see like two dudes out in the street, trying to fight each other. They just throw wild shots that has no really hopes of landing. They're just like, oh, I might land this shot, and that's what he does. They're like wide shots from way out fucking
Very
over
big
there.
arm punches, a lot of arm punches.
Yeah, and then that's how he got rocked by Vargas because he's throwing these wide ass shots, and Vargas just stuck him with a swift bow, and it was like, oh shit, that hurt. But yeah, I don't understand why he does that because it's the same fucking result in every fucking fight that he does. The same
He did the
thing.
same thing
He
against
starts
Kendall Hope
trading.
way back in the day.
He starts trading with these dudes, and he gets rocked, and then he's like sleep on the ropes for like 2 seconds, and then he wakes up and he's still swinging. It's like, do you not watch your tapes? Don't do that, dude. Don't do it.
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move on and talk about what's happening this weekend. I want to focus on the PBC on NBC card happening Sunday. Good doubleheader in decent doubleheader. The undercard I think is going to be better than the main event, but let's talk about it anyway. I'm gonna go first to you on this one, Sean. The main event of this PBC on CBS card is happening in Corpus Christi, Texas. Anthony Dirrell fighting Marco Antonio Rubio, 10 rounds super middleweight bout. Dirrell, who just lost the belt to Miguel, I believe it was, returning to the ring and fighting Rubio. I look at this, Sean. For me, it's a super middleweight, a big super middleweight fighting a middleweight. That's the difference to me. Look, Dirrell, he's fast. Look, Rubio can fight. Rubio can fight. He's skilled. He's long. He's tall. But I just think that Anthony Dirrell, if his mind is right, I just think the fact that he's a much bigger guy, that will be a difference at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I mean, we're not sure at this point, I mean, what Rubio has left anyway. Dirrell, he's got something to prove coming off that loss. I mean, he wants to come back, stay relevant, so that this is just a blip in his career and that he's still going to be one of the top guys. But it is his bounce back fight, so they want to put somebody in front of him that he can look good against. So you put him in against Rubio, who has a name, and because he's a little older and a little slower and a little smaller, he's going to be able to have his way more with him. So you can understand it's the same thing PBC has done consistently. Put in their A-class fighter with a name who isn't bad, but I mean, not really going to push them or really be that competitive of a fight. I mean, I think after around 3 rounds, I mean, Dirrell's probably going to start breaking him down and probably stop him around the 8th round.
I go to you on this one, J. Dill. Your thoughts on this bout? Do you see Rubio being any kind of competitive, or do you agree with Sean and myself that pretty much this is Dirrell's fight to win? And the question is, really, how much of a statement does he really want to make?
I don't know how this fight gonna go because Dirrell, he's a whiner, a complainer, and sometimes his stamina ain't the best. And if you crowd his distance, he's not really that sharp. So it's up to Rubio if he's gonna bring the fight to him. But Dirrell got the skills, he got the power. It's just will his mental fortitude and his endurance will him to victory or will him for a nice knockout. It's been a while since he had it like that. And it's been a
Particularly
while.
against a good guy, against a guy who's really good.
Yeah. I mean, this is an okay fight, to be honest with you. This is no different than a paraband fight to me. But to be quite honest with you, Dirrell hasn't looked like the dog in 2, 3 years. So I need to see the dog come out. And he must dominate this fight. If not, then, he's a third tier at best.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll go to you on this one. What you need? Your thoughts on this bout? You got your. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, I realized that the last fight that Rubio had, he came in overweight, which means he had actually outgrown middleweight. That's what I think. Yeah, I think he had weight issues, and so that also kind of affected the outcome of the fight, even though it probably would have ended the same way, but you never know. So now that he's kind of acclimatized, or should I say, he's going to go in comfortable. He should at least be, a super middleweight. Shouldn't have weight problems. Hopefully, this should be a good fight. It should be an okay fight. Anthony Dirrell, like J. Deal was saying, he's not shown that he really is so much of a dog anymore. I mean, when he fought against Bika, he was a dog there, and he did very well. And we know he can box. The question is, will he be able to perform against Rubio? We'll see. I mean, I don't know. I expect Rubio to come in there, should have trained and everything. Should be Rubio pretty much. But the question is, how does Dirrell
Can he impose his will, basically?
basically, because Rubio's always been crafty. He got that high guard stuff going on. He's a decent boxer. So the question is, how does Dirrell perform against Rubio? That's the big question. He's the dude to watch.
With you being, I guess, a novice, you like to claim yourself as a novice, Isha. I think you're more than a novice. And you're not as much of a novice as you say you are. Do you know much about any of these fighters, Dirrell and Rubio? And if so, your thoughts?
I'm gonna tell you this. What I do know is that PBCA side been taking lots of L's lately. So, um, as far as Rubio, yeah, I know a little bit about Rubio. I know the dude got some power in them hands of his. What I want to see is how Dirrell's gonna take them shots. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember his last fight per se, like how it went. I know he took that L, but I don't remember how the fight actually went. But I don't I don't think it's gonna be as easy as a fight as a lot of people on Twitter saying that it's gonna be an easy fight for him because Rubio's old, blah blah blah. Rubio lost his last fight was against Triple G, wasn't it? Was that the fight everybody's talking about?
He fought then. I
Yeah,
think he.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did he fight after that?
I'm thinking.
I don't think he
I
fought
can't
after
remember.
that. I think the last fight everybody's basing this off of is the fact that he came in fat over in that fight against Triple G,
That was the
and
last
how
fight.
he just laid down against Triple G. Like I said, nobody just lays down against Golovkin. The dude puts you out, and I don't think that people are comparing that fight as to how it's going to go with Dirrell. I don't think it's going to be the same outcome. Dirrell is a total different dude versus fighting Golovkin. I think this is going to be a nice competitive fight, and I think Dirrell's going to have to dig deep in order to win this one. I think how I feel is that Rubio's going to catch him with some nice hits, and he's going to have to, shake it off and see if he can mounts a good win for the end. I don't think it's going to be as easy as everyone said though, for sure. I think it's going to be a nice competitive bout that's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna go to the undercard, the co-feature, I should say. I'm gonna give it the more. I'm gonna give this fight more respect and say it's the co-feature, the co-main event. As Jamie McDonnell is going to fight Tomoki Kameda in a rematch. They fought before in Texas on the undercard of Burns Figueroa, I believe, and I'm going to go to you on this one. What you need. The very entertaining fight from a tactical standpoint, from a style matchup. Very good fight. Kameda scored a knockdown early, but McDonnell got up, rebounded well. I thought he won the bout. Kind of surprised me that he was able to get up and perform like he did following that knockdown. Your thoughts on this? I know you love tactics, you love the nuances or whatever. Just the way that this bout went the first time from that perspective. Your thoughts on the rematch?
I think McDonnell got some momentum going into this fight. Let's see if Kameda can make the adjustments to. He was saying that he's going to make the adjustments in this fight, and it's not even going to go the way how the last fight went. So I'm excited about seeing this. I'm the anticipation's building. This is the fight I think, like Sean Newton is saying in the comment section. This is the real main event of the evening. It's a very competitive fight. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to it Sunday.
Since you mentioned Sean, I'm gonna go to Sean on this. Your thoughts on this bout? The first bout was very good in my opinion. To me, it was the better fight it was marred unfortunately by the Burns and Figueroa and Lawrence Cole, and I hope to God he's not refereeing this rematch. But I'm gonna go to you on this.
If
one,
he's
Sean.
the referee, then R.I.P.
Oh, I'm gonna be on Twitter giving them hell again. There's no doubt about that. Ban Lawrence Cole. I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna make that thing. I'm gonna make that son bitch a trend if I have anything to do with it. If he's the referee for that bout. But back to the fight. Back to concentrate on the rematch itself, Sean. You mentioned to what you need's point. You mentioned how this is the real main event. So with that being said, talk about this fight. Very good bout. First time out. And I think it's going to be a very good bout again.
This is what we want in boxing. Two good, young, prime fighters fighting for a championship, which we could say is legitimate and really close, a 50-50 fight. I mean, the last fight was won by the smallest of margins. And I mean, now they're both coming back. They're readjusting their game plans. They know what they have in front of them, and we'll see who is able to up their game. And this is the perfect situation for a trilogy. And in these lower weights, it's nice because that's what they need, right? They need these fights, sometimes 2 or 3, to sort of really build the momentum and give them the name brand recognition that they don't get otherwise. And for these two guys, I mean, one UK fighter, one Japanese fighter, it's great because the first fight was pretty much ignored in a lot of ways because nobody really knew who they were. And now here you have the rematch, and now people maybe are still not familiar with them, but at least they're familiar with the name, and they're thinking, oh, yeah, okay, this fight was good. And it's going to be a great fight, and I'm looking forward to it. And this is what we want in boxing, these type of fights. Tough 50-50 competitive fights, guys who are going to put it all on the line and show like lots of different things in their game. I mean, you can see that this fight's going to have everything, and it's going to be a great fight. Unlike the first fight, which I mean, or the main event, which you have a ex-champ who was sort of given a belt and a guy who's long in the tooth, moving up, trying to extend his career. And they're pushing that as like something worthwhile. But I mean, who is really excited to watch any of those two guys fight? I mean, whereas this fight, it's going to be a barn burner.
I'll go to you on this one, J. Deal. McDonnell Kameda 2. Your thoughts on it? Unmute your mic.
I think this is going to be a good the second half, especially with the distance and everything. This is a fight on basic fighting and fundamentals versus athleticism. And the Japanese guy uses more than just athleticism, but dictates the pace and not allow McDonnell to control the distance and everything. Then this fight will be even more competitive and probably in his favor, and might go to a trilogy. But it's all about who makes the wise adjustments and who dictates the pace of their punching range and who lands the clear shots. I think McDonald's a technically sound more counterpuncher between the two when it comes to him being able to deal with his to utilize his jab and everything to set up his leads. But if the Japanese guy works on the angles and goes to the body a little, he will pretty much have a chance in this fight. But McDonald might win this fight again. He's just a stronger guy to me. So that's how I see it.
Unmute your mic, Isha. I'm gonna go to you on this. We was talking about this before the show began tonight. I know you differ from me in terms of who you thought won the first fight. Be that as it may, your thoughts on the rematch coming up this weekend. Unmute your mic, Isha, if you're there. Are you there, Taisha? Or Izzle, excuse me.
There we go. My
Okay.
screen was stuck.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I know we was talking about this fight beforehand, and you were kind of different in terms of who we thought won the first bout. I think you thought Kameda won the first bout. I thought McDonnell won the first bout. But be that as it may, your thoughts on the rematch happening Sunday?
That's actually the reason why I'm watching the card is so I can see this rematch. Like you said, this is the real main event. But yeah, the first fight, like I think that was Sean stating that a lot of people didn't know who these two guys were, and that is 100% true. But because I saw that first match between them is the main reason why I'm watching the second one, because the first matchup was great. I thought Kameda won, but others have a different opinion on it. I thought McDonald. I felt like he kind of coasted the last few rounds or whatever. But maybe I'm wrong. But this fight right here is the one that I'm looking forward to watch on Sunday because of how entertaining that first one was. So, you said that that McDonnell has the momentum coming in, whereas I think Kameda also has some type of momentum coming in because he has something to prove. Because he also thought he won the fight as well, so he's coming back with a vengeance to show you guys that he won that first matchup. And he's gonna I hope he sets out to prove that's exactly what he did the first one and not do some of the stupid shit he did in the first go round. So I'm really looking forward to this one, and I hope it's a banger just like the first one.
Well, we hope so. We hope so. And again, to everybody, I agree with everybody here. I think this is the real main event. This should be the better fight, more entertaining fight, whatever. I'm not going to predict the winner. I think this is a close matchup. Either guy could win. But again, I just really, really looking forward to it. And I think on that note, we're going to shut things down this evening for this episode. I'm going to go around the panel here. I'm going to start with you, J. Dill. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, I'm with you, Mike. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let the folks know where they can find you.
They can find me on Facebook, John Aristotle. They can also find me on YouTube, J. Dill. They can also find me on Twitter, Life7Joe. But anyways, I'm all over the YTBC, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, wherever's boxing, I'm there. So it ain't hard to find me. And thanks for having me.
Oh, no problem, no problem. You're welcome to join us anytime. Join us. I will give you, Sean, the opportunity for folks who want to talk boxing. You're all over the YTBC as well, receiving love and hate. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let the folks know where they can hit you up.
Yeah, I'm on the YTBC, Sean Newton. You can come watch my videos. And yeah, I'm always around trying to keep abreast, whether I agree or disagree with people, just to see what the opinions are and what's going on and what the latest news is.
And speak more to your videos. I know for the past month or so you've been putting up videos and talking boxing, whatever. Speak more about that. What's that about?
Well, I've just been talking about boxing. You know, I mean, in comments, some people are not so willing to listen to you or validate you. So, and some channels block you because you have a different opinion than them. So I just thought I should make videos and put it out there, and that way at least I get my opinion out there. Whether people agree or disagree, they can comment and open a dialogue. I always think it's strange when people have a different opinion, but they're unwilling to listen to other people. I mean, this whole network that we do, it's all about boxing talk. So obviously you're going to agree with some people and disagree with others. I mean, I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan, which is fine because not everyone has to be. And, you know, whether if I like him or not doesn't mean that I can't have a dialogue with people who are Floyd Mayweather fans or people who like somebody else. You know, this is all about boxing and dialogue and you know, just having some fun and pushing the sport that we love. And we all know if you like boxing with a lot of your friends and family, you can't necessarily have this dialogue because they just are not interested. So this is the one place that we have our refuge. And so, you know, I'm out there. Come say hello. Come rip me. It doesn't matter. I'm open to any dialogue. And yeah, I have Kameda by mid-round KO.
Interesting, interesting. I'm gonna go to you on this with Isha. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, chop it up with you on Twitter and whatnot, because we go back and forth every now and then, usually on the weekends. Or you trying to be a thug on Facebook. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let the folks know where they can find you, Isha. Oh, you unmute your mic. You unmute your mic. Oh man.
My bad. Yep. You can hit me up on the Twitters at KAYEZEL25. I'm there daily, chiming in about boxing, how I feel about it, debating and arguing with other folks, I guess you could call it, about other things too as well. But check out Sean's videos for sure, though. I love his perspective and his outlook that he gives on boxing. He's a very unbiased boxing fan, and that's what I totally dig.
And if you don't come correct, she will hit you with the power of Grayskull. So.
The power of Grayskull. Yes.
And what you need for folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let the folks know where they can hit you up and mention your series that's happening right now.
Yeah, man. What you need, you check me out on YouTube. I got all kinds of series running actually, but you can check out what I have. Of course, we have the Roberto Duran versus Castillo series that, yeah, it's going to be a series coming out, and it's coming out this week actually, so you guys can look out for that. But I got some other series, you know. A lot of times boxing is made up of a lot of different boxers who people don't know. They don't know these guys were world champions and they were like the hot thing in their time. So I have boxers that people don't talk about these days. That's a whole series on some world champions who did phenomenal things in the lower weight classes and the higher weight classes, all the way from the 20s all the way up to the present time. So I'm doing that series right now. Of course, Floyd Mayweather TV, that's a series. I know some people don't believe that the guy believes what he's saying. They think it's a marketing ploy. I believe that what the guy is saying is real. Also, I got some other series that are there. You can check out Boxing 101. You can check out Pound for Pound. I also got Hangout series, the Google Hangouts that we have, and Pound for Pound is on there. So, I want to also include any other videos from any other people. So I'll start to try and get videos from different people right here in this group. When we come to this hangout, if you got a channel, you know, just cue me in. You got any video stuff, I'll go and check it out, and I'll also feature it. We feature in a couple of different Google groups. I am in several boxing Google groups, so I put the stuff out there. I also try to educate people on boxing, get into boxing as exercise and so on. So there's a lot of things I do on my channel, but I just, you know, just check it out, shop out, see what you like. I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan, so if you don't like Floyd Mayweather, you know, stay away from the Floyd Mayweather stuff, and other than that, you should be cool.
Gail, you joined us late just as we get ready to shut stuff down. I'm gonna go to you quickly here. Your thoughts on the bouts this weekend, the doubleheader this weekend on the PBC card with Dirrell and Rubio, as well as the real fight, as far as I'm concerned, Jamie McDonnell and the Kameda rematch. Quickly, your thoughts on that.
This is a fight worth watching and worth supporting because weekend broadcast free boxing is worth seeing. The Dirrell fight, I don't expect much. These are guys kind of sloppy seconds with each other. You got the lesser Dirrell brother, and you've got Rubio, who's, last time I saw him, he was flat on his back. The other fight, though, Kameda, is always worth seeing. And, in that fight, he wants some revenge, so he's motivated. Well worth watching. What else are you going to be doing? Labor Day weekend. Come on.
And one more thing, your thoughts on Santa Cruz and his win over Mares and the future for Santa Cruz.
That fight showed us that Leo's the real deal. And they answered a lot of questions. Action-packed fight. Crowd was so into it. Sitting ringside. Everybody was wearing colors. The section on my right were all decked out in Santa Cruz t-shirts. The section off to the left of the media, all in their Mares gear. They were just screaming from long before they even did the ring walk. They were ready to go. And the undercard fights were outstanding. Loads of action. Even Alfredo Angulo looked good.
Your boy, Izzle, your boy.
Pero, baby.
He did look good. And you know what? He actually, until the main event, got by far the biggest cheers of the night. Place went nuts for him. They love him in LA. They love him in Southern California. And now he's one of their guys. So he looked good. He looked terrible at the weigh-in. I think he had problems making weight. But he'd either had a Snickers or something by the time of the fight because he looked good. Be interesting to see where he goes next. But the questions that we have had about Santa Cruz that needed answers, we got answers. And part of the reason he won, and Mares admitted it after the fight, is he made Mares box him and not brawl him. For a fight that was really billed as a brawl, Santa Cruz won because once he figured out the distance he needed to be and where he could fire the jab from using his height and reach advantage and use those weapons in box, from about the 6th round on, he had it. It's a great, great, great fight.
Okay. For folks who want to talk boxing, since we were in the process of shutting things down, for folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let the folks know where they can hit you up, Gail.
Well, I'm sorry to be a day late and $1 short, but with rescuing an old lady tonight, what can I say? So you find me on Community's digital news, which is COM, C-O-M-M, Digi, D-I-G-I News, comdiginews.com. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. I'm commenting on the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. I'm easy to find. Find me anytime.
Okay, I'll go back to you. Isha. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, unmute your mic, please. For folks who want to talk boxing or anything else, let the folks know where they can find you.
I already said that. Told him
Oh, man.
I already told him to find me on Twitter. But hold up, Gail. Them glasses are marvelous.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'm sorry. I was distracted. I'm sorry. And for those who want to check me out and talk boxing or whatnot, y'all know what it is. Brother JR76 on Twitter. If you want to find more things, Pound for Pound Boxing Report, just go to the blog page, P4PBoxingReport.wordpress.com. Just look to the right of the page where you can find links to find us all over the interwebs, all over social media, as well as the email address and blah, blah, blah. Next week.
Hey, did I miss any discussion about...
What was that?
Did I miss a big discussion about Mosley and Mayorga?
You know what? I left that alone for a reason. It wasn't mentioned.
Hey, I did a video on that Mosley Mayorga. I compared it to the first fight, so you guys can check that out.
There you go.
Yeah,
I said I didn't want to talk about it. I'd rather chew glass and shit fucking spikes before I talk about that fight.
It was a hot mess, no doubt.
It was ignored for a reason, and now you got Mosley saying he wants to fight with Kell Brook next. But
oh my God! No, did you see what he said about Kell Brook though? He was like, "Oh, Kell Brook, he doesn't want this fight. I'll win that fight easily." Blah blah blah. See, this is the whole reason why I didn't want to see him fight. The whole Mayorga fight shouldn't have came to fruition because I knew it was just a ploy to get his face back out there. Now he wants to continue to fight, and he's going to keep calling out these champions, blah, blah, blah. Nobody wants to see that shit.
I don't think he's
No
gonna
one wants to see that.
I don't think he's gonna fight any of those young guys though. He said he's looking at Marquez as his next opponent.
I don't care
One of
who,
them-
I don't
one
care
of
who
those
the
old
opponent
guys.
is. Nobody
Older
wants to
guys.
see that shit. Even the old guys that he's calling out is going to fucking mollywop him. You understand what I'm saying?
No, actually, I don't think so.
Let's put it this way: 13,000 plus, packed Staples Center, across the road at
Yeah,
the
baby.
2,500 people, and they couldn't give seats away for free. Hello.
Then nobody want to see that bullshit.
Nobody want to see it. Not even for free. Not even if they gave them booze. Nothing. Open bar. No.
So I told Lyle, now stand behind this. That whole thing, that shit was
I don't
staged.
understand
Man.
why it was pay-per-view though. I don't understand that part.
See, that's part of the thing that annoyed me. Natty Turner, Mr. Natty Turner, Blackbird Sugar, he made an excellent point on Boxing Beats and Ryan show, which I was a part of Sunday. Mosley, he could have done this on Fox Sports or something similar to that. So if you want to put something up like that, you can put it up for free. But to go through all that and then just to put it on pay-per-view of all things,
That's complete.
he went wrong where?
BN Sports would have taken that.
I was about to say BN Sports would have been perfect for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolute. Sorry, I realized I just trolled the show, but I had to do it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Going to make my impact in a short period of time tonight.
So yeah, I saw Sean in the chat. Yeah, there's a reason why I ignored the bout because I really didn't want to talk about that mess. So,
I had to do it for y'all.
But Mike,
I watched it though. I watched it. It was pretty good though.
by ignoring that fight though, Mike, you ignored Joel Diaz Jr.
Oh yeah,
Right?
he had a fight that night on the card.
Yeah, I heard the undercard was great. I'm talking about I wasn't about to pay $50 to watch the undercard though.
Hey, and the women's bout on that
And the
undercard
women-
was very good.
Yep.
yeah, it was.
But the point is that we missed out on those two fights because of some bullshit pay-per-view plot. I mean, like you said, it should have been on regular TV.
Good point.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to next week. Next week on the show, really a huge monster weekend. Next week on Friday, of course, Spike TV card. Adonis Stevenson fighting Tommy Karpinski. On the undercard of that, Errol Spence is going to be fighting Chris Van Erden. That's going to be September 11th in Toronto, and of course September 12th, Mayweather Andre Berto.
Yeah.
Yep, on the undercard of that, Ramon Martinez fighting Orlando Salido.
Yep.
Rematch.
Groves is on there too, right?
Right, Badu Jack is fighting Grove.
See, I don't know what people are hating so hardcore about this fight, but I'm actually one of the few people who are really, really looking forward to this fight.
Johnny Gonzalez is fighting on that card.
Yeah, he is. That's true.
Vanas Matarosa.
That's a solid card.
Ishe Smith on that card. So next week on the show.
Matarosian's a beast. I picked Matarosian to beat Ishe
So
Smith. Respect to Ishe.
We're already starting to preview next week's show.
Well,
See how
yeah,
good it's going to be?
along with recapping Kameda or McDonnell Kameda too, as well as Dirrell and Rubio, we will do a preview of all those fights. And by the way, stay on the show. I got a couple of tips for you in terms of your series, what you need, but we will do a preview of all those bouts. So
I got something for you too.
Okay.
The 22nd, J Rock's fighting on the 22nd on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, thank you. So I think we're gonna close the show down on that note. For Gail, join us late, but it doesn't matter. Communities Digital News, Sean Newton, Isha, aka K Izzle, What You Need, as well as Jay Deal, who joined us earlier. This has been episode 95 of the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. I'm your host, Michael. You guys have a good evening. Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Peace.
Bye.